Is Chip Kelly going to have to recruit at Ohio State? I got Letterman Row insider Matt Parker on. We're going to dig into this Chip Kelly hire from a recruiting perspective. Ohio State, they got a lot going on this offseason. It's really one of the most important in recent history. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button right now to the On3 Recruits channel because we are fired up to cover Buckeye recruiting this offseason. So do me a favor and hit subscribe. All right. Bring on Matt Parker from Letterman Row. Now, Matt, Ohio State, they already have their quarterback commitment in Taven St Clair, but he's been a riser in the rankings. On3 has him at number 10 overall, and I know he's an in-state guy, but you know there's going to be other teams knocking at his door. Do you think it'll be important for Chip Kelly to start building a relationship with St. Clair?
Yeah, absolutely, Josh. Well, first, thanks for having me. The second off, it's absolutely important that the offensive coordinator builds a relationship with, the potential future starting quarterback, especially at a place like Ohio State. There's a lot of, I guess, knocks on Chip Kelly for his lack of recruiting prowess, if you will. But ultimately, Taven St Clair was the guy that was handpicked by Ryan Day to run his offense when the time comes. And Chip Kelly has to have a relationship with him. Now, how that relationship goes about getting established, that'll be something certainly to watch, especially since we are in the throes of a dead period right now. But to answer your question, yeah, Chip Kelly absolutely needs a relationship with Taven St. Clair.
Yeah, we are in the dead period, but dead, hey, it's a relative term. They are still allowed electronic contact. They can reach out by phone. And I know visits don't start until the beginning of March 4th or 5th. But when Ohio State is recruiting some of these offensive prospects, how much of a selling point is Chip Kelly right now?
Well, I think it's just so new. It's really hard to. I mean, he was hired on Friday. We're recording this on Tuesday, but there's no time wasted when it comes to things like this. It's an interesting thing, just because Chip Kelly was brought in to be essentially Ryan Day's right-hand man, right? Mm-hmm. The thing is, he's going to call the plays, he's going to come up with the game plan, and then from there, everything else is kind of just, there's other people to take care of it, so it's still Ryan Day's offense. Now, there will be Chip Kelly elements to it. Like Chip Kelly, it's something that I think hasn't been talked about a whole lot, is Chip Kelly's offenses are really proficient at running the ball, and I'm really excited to see what Ohio State can do with that kind of a layer, with what Chip Kelly brings to the table with the running game and the running backs Ohio State will have this year. So I will say maybe for running backs and offensive linemen, particularly some athletic offensive linemen, I think Chip Kelly's offense could be a selling point, but it is worth noting that it is Ryan Day's offense. It's Chip Kelly in the driver's seat, however.
How much do you think Ryan Day, I know you said, he's going to come in, call plays, run the offense, and that's going to be his main job. But at any point, do you think Ryan Day is going to lean on Chip Kelly to pull his weight on the recruiting trail, or is that just not what he's brought in to do?
So I wouldn't expect that personally, just because they bought out Chip Kelly as a head coach to be an offensive coordinator. And on paper, a lot of people would think, oh, that's a demotion. But when you think about it, everything that comes with being a head coach nowadays, from the worrying about on-field stuff, roster management, NIL responsibilities, you add on transfer portal things, you add on high school recruiting, booster relationships, and everything like that. For Chip Kelly, all he has to do is be scheme guy as Ohio State's offensive coordinator. And I think on campus, when kids are on campus, when recruits are on campus, I think that's when you'll see Chip Kelly really start to do his thing as it relates to recruiting. But as far as going out on the road, in these winter contact periods, maybe not so much. Maybe some in-home visits if Ohio State, let's say in December, Ohio State makes an in-home visit to a guy like Jamie French, who is still uncommitted, is between a couple of schools, Ohio State being in the mix. And Ohio State sends down, a squadron of Ryan Day, Chip Kelly, Brian Hartline, and let's say Justin Fry, just for example. I think that is when you could see him being on the road. But as far as, contact period and things like that, I would expect no.
Yeah. Back to the days when head coaches only had to worry if their guys were going to class. I mean, you didn't even mention school when you mentioned all the things the head coaches had to worry about. I thought that was kind of funny.
That's implied, Josh. That's implied.
Yeah, sure it is. I was going to ask about the in-home visits and stuff. That could be important, but what about the May eval period? You know, coaches are allowed to go out on the road. High school, especially in the South, high schools are playing spring football, and it's a great time to go out and maybe even get some quarterback evals. But I guess that would depend on how long Ohio State is thinking Chip Kelly's going to hang around. Or do you think he'll be on the high school sidelines watching quarterbacks throw in spring?
I could very well see that. It certainly helps that Ohio is starting to roll out a faux spring ball, if you will, where programs get, I think, about 10 days to do things. So he'll be able to go see at least Taven St Clair throw, places down in the South, see some 2026 guys. And Chip Kelly just left Los Angeles at UCLA, so he has California connections.
Right.
Go out and see what's happening at a place like St. John Bosco, Mater Dei, all of those programs. But as far as, that May evaluation period could be pretty critical, as well as in June when Ohio State hosts its recruiting camps. Would certainly expect Chip Kelly to be on campus for those at the camp, especially since, it's on campus, right?
Mm-hmm.
He just has to go there, show up, and really just kind of watch and leer, kind of in the same way that Ryan Day and Mark Pantoni do.
I mean, from a football perspective, this has to be one of the most anticipated, one of the most exciting off seasons in recent Ohio State history. Is the staff gonna try to turn this momentum and make some ground up on the recruiting trail as well? Do you expect a huge influx of talent to come through Columbus to watch some of this spring football?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you look at what Ohio State did in January, starting off with Devin Sanchez committing to Ohio State on January 6th. And then from there, it was top 100 edge rushers, Zahir Mathis, and then, top 100 offensive tackle Carter Lowe, and then Naeem Offord right before the dead period started. So this Ohio State class is already, compared to other programs, in a really, really good spot. And then you look at some of the guys that have already confirmed visits to Ohio State for the spring. You have TJ Alford down in Florida. You have Riley Pettijohn from Texas, Landon Rink from Texas. So there are certainly some dudes that, as we sit here on February 13th, there are some dudes that have already confirmed visits to Ohio State. And I expect that to, increase in the next 2 weeks as guys start to make their plans with recruiting coordinators at their high schools, their head coaches, mom and dad, things like that, as well as Ohio State extending invites. I mean, I already saw and confirmed that Jeffrey Overton, a 3-star running back from Virginia, has locked in his visit for the spring game, and that's not until 2 months from now. So Ohio State is definitely putting together some important visitors for this upcoming spring period. And I think Ohio State fans should be really, really excited for what the Buckeyes are doing on the recruiting trail now. The big thing is what happens in December, right? That's always the big thing. So enjoy what's happening now, and we'll see if it hangs on in December.
Yeah, let's not get ahead of ourselves. This spring is going to be really exciting, and you guys do a great job on Letterman Row covering everything from football to recruiting. Glad we could get you on the inside scoop and kind of hit on some of the fallout from the Chip Kelly hire.
Oh, I appreciate the time as always, Josh.